Hello and welcome, as today's date is that of the first day of July 2019. It's the first day of the third quarter. It's also Canada Day. And Canada Day is red, so I guess we have a red candle, and that's just whatever. I mean, really makes no difference at all. The fact that Bitcoin or Canada Day is going to reflect Bitcoin's prices in no means whatsoever, I would think. 10,184 is the price action after being down yesterday 9.3%, thus far down 5.4. And it was a high of near 14,000. So it's lost like 3,600, 3,500 on that level. And that represents 25 or so percent down from the high. It's come down to the 18 average of lows, and we can see the 18 average of highs. It's going to flatten out. 18 average of lows will flatten out. It's the first time it's been below it since between June the 4th and the 10th when it was in that phase. And it's had, of course, an incredible run. On the way higher, when we look at this 12,930 Fibonacci level, it obviously has been resistance. The first time we've had a fib level resistance since the line not shown here at around 4,100. And even 4,800 was taken out as well. So one, two, three levels were surpassed. And now this one in here, we take a look at it on the 4. Price action did come up to it, pretty much exactly on this period in here. And then following that, it came back and had this little move up towards this high. As this was breaking higher around 13,000, one of the things I felt confident in saying was this thing is going to go back to 10,000. Whether, and it really, I mean, unless it has an explosive move of major proportions, which was definitely possible but didn't happen, because on an intermediate term level, short termish level, 10,000's in play if it tops in this area, which it did. So now here we are in the pierce above 10K now. But even if it were to go up to say 16, 17, if that's what the high was, even on a more longer term level, maybe a month or so later or two later would probably go back as well. And after correcting amongst the 4 in betweening in here, leaving that area yesterday morning, and has obviously stayed within the 18 average of lows ever since this period, experiencing the down move, and it really started to break down at about 8 o'clock this morning, getting down below this layer of support rather of 10.8, which is now resistance, 10 to 10.6 area I'm looking for within the 18. Coming down was a pierce above this low originally, now it's a pierce below it. And within it, we're now at levels not seen since June 21st. Not 10-day lows. Volatility, yeah, most certainly that in play. Switching it over to the longer term time frame, which is the weekly, and then the monthly thereafter that. Price action, when you see this candle here, I'm going to be clear on how I look at it, because first off, what's important to me is where did it come from. That's the really most important thing, is where did it come from beforehand. 2 consecutive great green candles up, which meant it was 3 in a row when it was at that high. And before then, it was in this sideways consolidation, and before then it was that, but each move before then matters less. And thus, what I can even tell by this candle is that shorter term time frame, it did something like that, a V-shaped formation. So you're in a correctionary mode, as we can see on the shorter term time frames. Enough where we've seen the daily, it's hit the 18 average of lows and it's broken it all down on the 4 hour and less. But in here we have the 18 average of highs that's in at 8,800 and the 18 average of lows at 72.64. It is still overextended, but it's come down with it. And oftentimes it doesn't really need to have the 18, as we can see in here. These were different types of corrections that avoided it. It has a chance via that of price to do so as well. But if it comes down even further, then that most certainly doesn't destroy this trend, and not even close, at least not yet. For even looking at this on the monthly term time frame, what's important to me when you have a move that goes below it and then you don't resist the lows or the highs and you have a good stable move above it, is holding and staying above the 18 average of highs, and which means roughly at around the 7,000 areas where I would like to see it hold and stay above over the next for the rest of the summer. And that even tells me there that a correctionary move of $3,000 down doesn't hurt. the monthly term time frame. It came a long way from this 3100 low to this high. It came a long way from this high to this low. It came a long way from this high to this low, as well as it did here to here, and we just enjoyed this moving average double add, and it came a long way from here to here. So it's probably in the future going to come a long way in its next set of moves. For me today, it's just been a bit of ratio trading. I've been mainly selling that of GoChain today, as it's got a nice little setup. I like what it's looking. We'll see if it breaks out, but this little move in here, bringing the price action up from all the buys I did back in here, where I got some sells. And Theta was another one. Against Bitcoin, it's gotten its ass kicked from that high, but it kicked ass to get to that high. I plan on this to continue to have a lot of more kiss-ass moves in both directions. Currently on the daily time frame, volatility is low. We are priced now into the 18 average in a correctionary phase. And on the single hour time frame, the market has been, of course, experiencing higher highs and higher lows. And, well, I've been, of course, selling that mostly throughout the morning. I've also been selling DGB. Just a meh whatever move, but we've seen it come from like 100 up to 117, which is where I think I got at, was 117. And then buying coins like LITECOIN, which was bought down around 9 o'clock, down in this low area here. And a bunch of other comes. Qtum was another one, but before we go to Qtum, within LITECOIN, I like this still looks very progressive. This breakout is holding very well, and it's making a move above the 18 average of highs right now. But Qtum, I only trade Qtum against two things, and I bought them both. I'm trading it against GoChain and Theta, so I sold both of them to accumulate. But I did so down at this, one at 430, one I was having to buy it on the way up at like 440, I think. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably on the way up at 10 o'clock. I can't remember. It might have been 430 buying on the way up. Let me just take a look. 'Cause I was looking at shorter term charts, so it might have been like buying up at like 435 even. But I looking at this 15-minute time frame, I like just this period here and what it's been doing afterwards. This looks progressive for potential leg towards the upside. So as far as going down, did the 18 tell you that it was going to go down? Well, the last it was in a bullish mode, or at least non-bearish, was in here. And what did it do on a period by period level? Okay, we hang into the 18, which is flat. There we're starting to show some weakness. That really did. So if you got in on a short play here, which is kind of meh, I would think, then you shouldn't get stopped out. But what it did do was, okay, an 18 started to lower, pausing it. Okay, can it get up? That's a bullish thing. If not, it's bearish, and there's your bearish, definitely a bearish candle right there. And then the follow through in here, not able to make anything happen on this move. And the bearish signals at 451 coming into play. And most certainly it managed to first go down to 437 for one leg, the resist the 18, and then of course what's looking like possibly the final leg down towards here, because for the last several periods it's now been two pauses and then the continuation after this. I like its look on the 15 right now. Actually, I'm just thinking, what's Binance Coin look like? 'Cause I don't do this too often, but I have a bunch of BNB, and sometimes just for something to do. I'll day trade it, but if Binance Coin is looking good too, it's overextended. But by how much? It's at a previous high. It's consolidating. Okay. Still difficult. How about the foreign daily? BNB looks pretty good too. As it established this level of resistance here, I like how it corrected it. A lot of resistance with the 18 of highs, but it never ever did go to the 18 lows. That's a spectacular thing to see in itself there. And then here's your breakout and follow through. So if there's going to be any price corrections down, maybe down towards in here, if there's even going to be that, then that'll be an interesting spot to see if that is a possible area of a low within this time frame, or where a bottom will come into play. With a lot of these coins, it's been beat up, but not so badly overall. Amongst against Bitcoin, 44 change down to 26 change. But now just getting up to the 18 average of lows within its correctionary phase. If it can hold and stay in this area for the next 2-3 days, at least today into tomorrow over the 30 or close to the 30 handle, that will be enough for the 18 average of lows to start to flatten out. Or at least if it stays above in this range in here. It probably has to get above it. I'd probably take that back. I would probably, I can recalculate it. I haven't calculated, period. I could calculate it to see what it would need to stay above, but I don't really care too much mathematically. But if it could hold within the 18, that's enough to help neutralize the downtrend, and it still has to get above the 18 average of highs to attempt breaking out. And that's not till about the 340 handle, even above that, technically coming in. Because the high does say 343, but even be above that because the 18 average of highs, as this is going higher, this would barely start to go higher as well. Okay, that should be it. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.